Live from Alachua, Florida. We are coming here again today. We took a week off yet. Last week we were on a little hiatus, vacation actually, out camping in the woods, having some fun, and had no access to anything. So we're back, and we're coming back with a vengeance. And of course, you are watching the Joe Live show, and it is brought to you by the City of Alachua Chamber of Commerce, the City of Alachua Optimist Club, and of course me, the Digital Mortgage Guy. And so I want to get right into two things. Number one, next weekend, I want to go ahead and give you an announcement. If you're looking for some free live music, the City of Alachua is bringing it to you. Next Saturday from 5 to 9, you can come out to Legacy Park at the amphitheater, and they're going to have an amazing event, completely free. There's vendors there that you can shop, so bring some money and buy some stuff. And then also food vendors are going to be there. So you'll have food, shopping, and be able to bring a chair. Bring a little umbrella for when the sun's out at around 5, the sun's still out, so bring a little umbrella and just sit down and relax and enjoy the music, because it's going to be awesome. And they're doing this on a regular basis. And of course, next week or next month, there'll be the 4th of July, which is the largest 4th of July celebration in Florida. And so it's then I think it's the largest small town fireworks display in the country. So anyway, those are a couple of things. So I want to dive into getting my guest right up onto the show. My guest has such an impact on people, I'm going to put it that way, because I was recently at an event where he was being confirmed for his current position, which we'll talk about in a second. And there's a line out the door of people that were there to basically just talk about his character and what he means to them. And I'm honored to actually have him on my show, the incoming city manager, Kamal Latham. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Joe. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
I am super happy to have you on. I know you are a busy guy. And I mean, you were just recently confirmed to be the new incoming city manager, filling some big shoes with Adam.
Yes.
And I tell you, it was impressive, all the people that showed up to just speak on your behalf, to say to the commissioners, you don't need to shop around. We've got the guy. And they came in droves just to say what you mean to them. You've impacted a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people. And then your wife got up there and about destroyed me. Because her speech was amazing, and just, it was a tearjerker. It was amazing. So you have impacted a lot of people. I wish I could have recorded all of that and actually just ran it through, because watching that, I've known you for a little while, but you don't realize how much you impact people until you see people come up. And like you were saying, and other people says, it's almost like it was a wake. It was a good thing, but it was just, everybody was just speaking highly of you. And so we're excited to have you coming in as the city manager. I was pumped when I found out you were coming in as assistant city manager originally, and then I kind of went through an emotional roller coaster when I saw that Adam was leaving, because I was like, no, and then they said you were coming in. I was like, yay! So it put me through all that. So, but glad you're on the show.
I am happy to be here. Thrilled.
And I wanted to ask you, let's shift back just a little bit. I wanted to touch base on how did you've got a very diverse background, a very diverse history, and so I wanted to talk about how you managed to how did Gainesville end up getting someone like you to come? And now Alachua has you, because Gainesville's now out of the picture. It's all us. But how did you get involved in coming to Gainesville? I guess we'll start there.
Sure. That's a very good question, and thank you for that very generous introduction. I was deeply humbled and honored to be selected by the commission to be the next city manager.
Yes.
And there's a tremendous foundation and a legacy that was put into place by Adam Bakari, the current city manager.
Absolutely.
And Alachua is a beautiful place. It is a wonderful place. and there's been a good legacy of leadership with the elected officials and with the city team members, and working together as a team to move the community forward, because it's all about people, and people live in a community.
Yep.
So developing the community helps to improve the quality of life.
Absolutely.
Now, in terms of from my story, my wife and I, we are Christians, and we pray and we believe in God. And in June of 2011, we were at a church and we were in a prayer service, and we were on the floor just praying and asking for guidance for the future. And I kid you not, after that, we sat down, looked at each other, and we knew we each had received something. And I turned to my wife. I said, we were living in China at the time.
Wow.
I was a career diplomat, and so we were in Beijing. And I said, honey, we are supposed to leave China and go to the U.S. and settle in Florida. And that's what happened. You know, we got a word from the Lord, and we decided to pack up and leave. And we arrived in Gainesville in March of 2012. And what happens after we had that prayer session was walking around a hotel room, and then Gainesville just came to me. Just literally walking around a hotel room, just Gainesville. That's right. And I said, honey, is there a Gainesville in Florida? She said, I'm not sure. I think there's a Gainesville, Georgia, because she had lived in Atlanta for a while.
Gainesville, Georgia, yeah.
So
absolutely.
went online, looked it up. Said, oh, there's a university there. So like, okay, well, we'll see what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So then we came here with no family, no friends, no contacts, no job. We had a consulting business, so that's what we were able to do remotely. But we came just on that guidance.
Wow.
And we've been so blessed. We were in Gainesville for 2 years, and then we moved out to Alachua, right outside the city. We got a home, and we were there for a number of years.
Yep.
And then we had moved away, and we came back about 8 months ago. But it was very, very blessed, and we were just fortunate and happy that we were led here.
That's an amazing story, actually. That's definitely a story of faith to just, okay, Gainesville, we're going to go there. We're going to, come here with nothing, no set situation. And you come in and boom. And I had originally met you through the Gainesville Chamber, which you were working with them. And then you had been recruited as well to go to the Virgin Islands and be the CEO of Economic Development, correct? Yeah, yes. So you were down there and making big things happen there during I guess they had the hurricanes come through and do a lot of blowouts, and you were instrumental in helping rebuild that area. And then we lucked out that you were looking to come back, and then Adam had reached out to you, and you came back to Alachua and as an assistant city manager. And I want to hit back on one other thing. You were in China as a diplomat.
Yes.
So how long were you in China for?
We were in China for a total of 8 years.
Wow.
We were overseas for a total of about 10 years between China and France.
China and France, okay. So you were a U.S. diplomat?
Yes.
Interesting. How did you end up into that position? Just curious.
I went to graduate school, and I was able to get a full fellowship to go to graduate school. And part of the requirement of that fellowship is that you had to serve as a diplomat for several years. So it was a full ride to a graduate program. And I said, this sounds interesting. And so I signed up for it and was able to get the fellowship. And then I had to serve several years after as a diplomat. And then we decided to stay.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful opportunity to serve our nation and being representatives of our country overseas.
That would be a fascinating job. And you speak Mandarin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I can barely speak a little bit of Spanish. Un poquito, right? Right? So, and because you've got a very diverse background. I mean, I want to mention, let's throw it up there, that you wrote a book as well.
Yes, I did.
And which I'm actually ordering today. I'm going to have you sign it.
Oh, my.
By the way. But it's your CEO potential. There it is. And I've heard good reviews on this book. And writing a book is not easy. I've had a number of friends who've written books, and they say it's like one of the most arduous task they had to do was actually make this happen. So what inspired you to write a book?
Well, what happened, the book is about finding and fulfilling your purpose. It's called Your CEO Potential, realizing your calling, equipping, and outcomes in Christ Jesus. As mentioned before, my wife and I are Christians, and we believe in having purpose, and that everyone has a gift and a talent, and they're here for a reason. So what we had realized is that there's a difference between knowing what you're called to be versus knowing what you're called to do. And that's where it gets to the dynamic of purpose.
Got it.
I spent a lot of years of my life focused on what I was called to be at a certain time of my life, whether it was being a diplomat or being in the private sector. And I wanted to hit my KPIs, my key performance indicators each year, get good evaluations, and et cetera and so forth. And I had built up a certain amount of success on the world standards, but I was not fulfilled. And then I realized I was just focused on what I was called to be, but not what I was called to do. And then I started meditating and reflecting, and then what I realized what I was called to do was to inspire. That's what I've been called to do. So regardless of what I've been called to be during a certain season of my life, that vertical column, across every season, that horizontal, that common denominator should be I need to be inspiring people to have hope for a better tomorrow. So whether that's in economic development, trying to create new economic opportunities so people can have a job tomorrow that didn't have today, or help to launch a company tomorrow that they didn't have today, or leadership development, or being able to provide some proper guidance for a community, regardless of whatever it is of that assignment, that position, that thing that I'm called to be at that particular point in time. I need to be making sure that what I'm doing is going to help engender a sense of hope, that people can have hope for a better tomorrow. So that was what the book was about, identifying different calling types.
I'm looking forward to this book. Now, you just inspired me to get, and you do inspire me. Like I said, that line of people you inspired all of those people in some way. And, I really do look forward to that book now. I'm glad they do one-day shipping. And with you coming in as the city manager, your plan that you laid out for us at the chamber, the best plan, which I love the name. That's a phenomenal name. I've never seen, folks, if you were there, you'll know what I'm talking about. I've never seen a presentation done with economic development where someone went back to near the founding of the city, where you went back and you actually read founding documents, found things in there, why and how the city was founded, and and went back into old meetings in 1985 and found through transcripts and found things that to kind of see where the city came from and how we can connect to the past and still go to the future. It was just amazing to watch how you did that and highlighted certain things that really is impactful to me to see that. And then watching you do your speech and your energy, that you can just tell that it's like you have passion for this, and it's exciting to see what the vision is on the best plan for Alachua. And there's so many things that are coming in that plan, and it's so concise. I wish we had videotaped that whole meeting, but we do have the presentation. So if anybody wants the presentation, I will get it out to you. But it's really well done. So when you were developing that, I've just never seen anybody actually go back like that and do the research. They always just think of kind of the here and now and they move forward. They don't go back and kind of build a base out of that. So how, in your mindset, what drove you to kind of look into the past like that?
History is important. It's always very important. And the city of Alachua has been quite successful. And typically, success has a precedent. Success has a basis, has a foundation. So we looked at the founding, some of the early documents from the city. It was founded in 1905, and we found a document from 1910 for the rules governing the city council of the city of Alachua, Florida. And it talked about bringing in people from outside of the community and developing business. That is talent development, talent recruitment, business growth, business attraction. So those two key dynamics of talent and business were enshrined in one of the early documents of the governance of the city.
Yeah.
And then looking up to 1985, and there was a vice mayor that talked about we have the small town flavor, and we want to maintain that. And then the current strategic plan that the city commission has approved encapsulates those dynamics of talent and business and the small town flavor.
Yeah.
So it's always important that when you see something that is successful, you look at some of the history, because you'll typically find a common denominator.
Yeah. That's the brilliance of that whole presentation you did. That to me was just, is one of the best I've seen, the best plan. So I mean, it just the way you encapsulated that together, and it does. It's way to, a lot of people I don't think do that, to look back and understand what's good and bring that forward and keep the momentum going. Because Alachua, that is a challenge with Alachua's growth. Alachua's growing quickly. Is how do you make it grow and still maintain the small town feel? Because that's the attraction to it. I would say our tourist attraction is our downtown district. It's the beautiful traditional downtown. You come down and it's a great place to walk and enjoy. And then we have industry building around it. And so how do we grow that? So that's a challenge for you on that one, to be able to figure out how do we not turn into, not that Gainesville's bad, but Gainesville's really spread out and lots of traffic and everything. And Alachua has almost the same footprint in land as Gainesville does, but it's just more rural. And so the challenge is try to get us to figure out how to section out areas where we can grow economically and be dynamic, but still maintain that walkable feeling of the city.
Well, every community in America has its own distinctives. City of Gainesville has its distinctives. City of Alachua has its distinctives. Mm-hmm. Newberry, Hawthorne, Archer, every municipality has something that makes it special. And so it's always incumbent to try to find out, well, what is it that is the thing that's making this community very special? And we have a very special community in the city of Alachua.
We do. I love it there, and that's why we run this show, and redoing all the stuff with the chamber and the city chamber partnership. I mean, you're very engaged, and one thing I'll definitely say is the moment you came to town, you had already started reaching out to folks and meeting with folks and coming to events on a regular basis, very, very visible in the community right out of the chute. And so that is I think that's important with the governance of the city and the private sector, where they come together and they meet on a regular basis. They keep they're not in their own echo chambers, and so therefore everybody is working together for that same common goal to go forward. And you're really bringing that to the table. It's really, it's just going to. I'm going to give Adam a shout out, because Adam's really knew that he was moving to a new direction, and he needed to have a good succession plan in place, and he found it right. He did it right by bringing you here, and so we're going to go so far. And I do think a lot of people should take a look at that best plan because of all the little key components, and then I'm sure we'll reconvene later down the road and see where we're at and kind of follow up on everything. Also, I want to circle back, because I'm really pumped about the book now after getting a little summary of it. If you want this book, it's on Amazon, so you can go out there and you can get it. You also have a website still, do you?
Yes.
Yep. And so can you get it there? I haven't been to the website.
There's a version that you can get there.
Okay, gotcha. So so that's another place where you can go and be able to get that as well. Let's see where we're at on our time, because I know we have to make sure we stay in our 30-minute window. or Elio will roll me out. But I wanted to circle one more thing back too. Is I heard in the meeting on education that where did you go to college?
I went to Temple University in Philadelphia.
Temple University. And what was your degree in there?
I was a double major in political science and history.
History.
Yes,
There we
history is
go.
key.
There you go. I knew, me and you are really connected now, because I'm always telling my wife, I said, if I could go back and do it again, I'd do one of two things. I'd either be a computer engineer or a marketing computer or something marketing wise, or a history teacher, because I read history books all the time. So there we go. So now we're understanding how you bring that in, because yeah, now it's kind of connecting and everything. When you were in the Virgin Islands, what was the experience like to go in there to a place that had been blown apart and to have to help them get on track to rebuild? How was that experience? Like, that's got to be a daunting experience in the field, to go down to a place that's been destroyed and be able to come into systems that are probably antiquated and old and try to rebuild those and to bring them to the future. I mean, where do you even start with that?
Oh, that's a very good question. It was a wonderful experience being down there. Beautiful place with very wonderful people. There was an opportunity to try to help direct some federal relief dollars into projects and programs that were going to help with the recovery and the rebuilding of the territory. It's a U.S. territory, so it's part of the United States, and there was a lot of relief dollars that were approved to come to the territory. So there was a great opportunity to work with the existing resources that the territory was operating under and the new resources that were coming in. And it was a team effort down there to really collaborate and work together and to look at what would be in the best interests of the people.
Yeah. And because it's a small little area, and I think we visited it a couple times through vacations and stuff through the Caribbean. We hit so many of the different islands that you can't even keep up with them. When you're on the cruise ship, you don't know where you're going half the time. It's like we're here now. But to come in and be able to help them get to that. And now I think with where we're going in Alachua, it's you're a key component to, with your economic development background. I think it's going to be really key to us attracting the right businesses, because we have rail and we have highways. We have the biotech corridor now, and so tech's coming in. And so I think you're going to be really helpful on helping us reach out and bring those people here. So I think it's going to be a very fun thing to watch as we grow. I want to have you back a year from now to say, here's where we're at, here's what's happened, because I think you're going to have a long tenure here, because we're not going to let you leave. That's the way it is. But I mean, there's our roll music. But I appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we're, like I said, on behalf of the entire city, everybody is very excited that you've chosen to be back here and make your home back in Alachua.
Happy to be back and to work with a wonderful, talented group of people in the city of Alachua. We have the best team, bar none.
They are. I love working with all the staff at the city of Alachua, and the Optimist Clubs. We're helping with the Music Fest, and Kim and Elliot and Mike DeRosa. They're all just making it happen.
Yes,
and of course my wife is all in the mix in that, and then she pounds on me to make sure I get the signs up. Get the signs up. I'm the labor. So if the signs don't look that great when they're hung, it wasn't me. So, but yeah, thanks for coming on, and we will see you guys next week, and have an awesome Friday.
All right. Goodbye.